the ice behind my stone cold eyes.
Room for innocence when children are around. There is little that we can do as parents to eliminate the factors. There are ways to help to control them. So the ways to control the children and make sure they grow up into positive adults is what we'll be looking at today. And we have with me Thank you for joining me today. So the first question we have today is, what is parenting?
Okay, if I'm going to start, I will say parenting has placed God to be parent to ensure that our children are trained in the way of the Lord. It's that guidance that we provide for our children physically, spiritually, mentally, academically, to see that they become better than us. One thing I know is that all parents will always pray that their children will be better than them. But for that to happen, that duty is on us to ensure that these children, they grow well physically, they grow well mentally, they grow well spiritually, and they grow well psychologically. So to me, these are the definitions of parenting. That's how I understand it.
He has said most of it, but we had that parenting is raising children in the way of the Lord. And producing children that will be for signs and wonders. The Bible wants us to, the Bible says, train up a child in the way it should go. And when he grows up, we'll be able to not depart from it. So God expects us as parents to raise godly children, children that will fear God, that will live their lives for God, and children that will bring us, that will make us proud in the future. And it entails providing our children, and then we protect them from every form of evil, and we care for them, and showing them maximum love. Like I tell my children, I said, if anybody comes to you and tell me that I love you, tell the person, my parents have shown me so much love. So there's no way that boy or will try to lure you to what is not. We said that I love you, that my father and mother showed enough love. So if it tells you that, don't let's go to tell them, don't worry. My parents take me, So parents, there are some things, tiny things that we just ignore. It is that we are coming back from work, let's just get them something that will make them happy. That even if, especially our girls. So even when the boy is here, I'm trying to lure them like, this one, not worry. My daddy will always do this, my mom will always, so they will not be easily, swept away by the things of this world. Amen.
As long as we parents understand that we are custodians of these children, they are gifts to us. And our primary assignment is to make sure that we always direct them, lead them towards God, who is their Heavenly Father. And as long as we do that, they will, at the back of their mind, always want to misbehave or disobey their father, their mother. There is someone up there who is looking at them and watching over them.
Thank you very much. So now we've defined parenting. So what can we now say is Christian parenting?
Oh, okay. One of the reasons we're having this conversation is the fact that we are in a generation whereby children are finding it even hard to follow basic instructions. And when we now talk about Christian parenting, you will agree with me that the world we are into is so corrupt that if we're going to have children with difference, children for signs and wonders, we need to lead them early to Christ. This morning I was coming to church. My last born was crying that she wants to follow me, and I said she was not ready. Now, we wouldn't take that for granted. The basic responsibility, the same way it's good for us to provide our children with food, we must make sure they know Christ. And that is important. That is what Christian parenting is all about. Getting them to know Christ as early as possible, so that when they grow, they will not depart from the learning, from the instruction. If your child has not given his life to Christ, you're not comfortable as a parent, because there are 10 in Jesus' name.
Yeah, he has said it all. But I want to add that we should raise Christian parenting involves raising children in the way and in the fear of the Lord. Let the word of God dwell richly in their hearts. We should not say that these children are small at this tender age. It's what we put inside of them. We even know that we know mothers, our parenting starts from when these children are inside our womb. And that's why we know we start talking to them. At times that when the baby kicks, and the kids will just tap the baby, it's parenting. So, parenting starts from the womb. And you speak the word of God to them. Even when baby is in the womb, you continue speaking the word of God to that baby right from the womb. So when the baby comes out, the baby will continue in the way of the Lord. And Christian parenting is different from the parenting out there. When the child misbehaves out there, before you know it, but listen, that such word should not come out from our mouths as children, as parents. It should come, the word of God should come out of our mouths. When we look at our Father in the Lord, he says, even when he misbehaves, his mother will always tell him that, don't worry, he will speak the word of God into his life. So as Christian parents, we should learn to sow the word of God into the lives of our children. And I realize that Christian parenting, we get our children confused. We tell them something and we are doing something else. And these children get confused and say, but mommy just said this, and mommy is doing it again. For instance now, I tell my child not to lie, and someone comes home, and I go and tell the person I'm not around. We have confused the children because you told the child not to lie, and someone comes and you are telling the child to go and tell the person I'm not around. So parents, we should not confuse our children. If you want them to speak the truth at all times, let them speak that truth. Don't let us try and manipulate little lies into their lives, because as they are going like, mommy no man parrot, daddy no man parrot, so and they go along with it. And the Lord help us in Jesus' name.
Okay, let's go to the next question, which is, who is a 21st century child?
Okay, one thing that, number one, 21st century child are children that are born in this century. They call them the alpha children, the alpha century children. They are those children that, if you are not careful, they have a tendency of getting to even know more than you do as a parent. Their level of inquisitiveness is on a different level. I remember in those days when we are young, when we ask our parents some things, they will tell you, don't worry, over time, you'll get to know. These children, if they ask you questions and you don't provide answers, there are alternative ways for them to find the answers without your assistance. So a 21st century child is that child, those are those children that are available right now in our hands. They are those children that are highly inquisitive. They are those children that it is beyond the four corners of your house. The information that flows through them is beyond the four corners of your house. Unlike when we're growing up, we go to school, we either get information from school or we get information from home. But these ones have alternative 1,000 means of getting information that if you don't tell them on time, they might get the wrong information and apply it wrongly. They might get the right information and apply it wrongly. So it's an inquisitive generation that the parents cannot sit down and just sit down and say, "It's more money." No. Your children are trying to find information, you need to get it ahead of them so that when they ask, you'll be available to provide them with the needed guidance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Doctor said it all, and it's just, I think science is calling the evolution from our daddies and mommies that are here. The time is different compared to now. And these children, they are like computers. They process things, not that they want to even process, they do it faster. They do things faster than us. And they want to explore, they want to make sure that they practicalize the things that they see, they hear, see others do. So it is a huge responsibility on us as parents to make sure that we have a very wise way of containing the excesses. And at the same time, helping them to filter the information they get. Because the truth of the matter is, no matter how we parents think that you can block them from accessing those information, they will always find a way. They will always find a way. So our responsibility is to let them know how to filter through the information that they are bombarded with. Be able to put the right ones to use and ignore the wrong ones.
Thank you very much. So let's go to our next question. So we cannot say all this and not highlight some of the challenges that Christian parents have today. So my question is, what would you say are the challenges of Christian parents in the 21st century? Mommy.
The challenges are much, but I'll just highlight some numbers in their prayers. So most of the responsibilities has been, given out to somebody else. So I would say one of the challenge in this present day is the pressure at work. And another thing is peer pressure, like my pastor just said. He said even when you don't give them information, they get information from their friends, they get information from school. And there's no way you can, there's no way you can, keep this out. Like my children, when they start singing some songs, some worldly songs, I look at them that you don't hear these songs from me. And they will sing it word for word. And as they are singing it, they are taking the dancing steps. Where I am, I'm seated, I'm looking at them, wait. That is the challenges we are facing as parents. So it's for me now at home to now tell them, okay, don't do this, don't do that, or mama shebai, mama shebai. So there are some things that you cannot, they are inevitable. You face it as a parent. Another thing is that children of this 21st century children are highly demanding. They want whatever they want it by force, by fire. Even when you tell them you don't have it, they will tell you that you have it. They don't want to take no for an answer. Like in our own days, when you tell your parents that I want this, and they don't have it, you don't dare go back. I know my dad, he wears glasses. By the time he brings his glasses and he knows his eyeballs, you have gotten his message. But these are my own children, even when their father is, they're just looking at him. That is the children we have nowadays. And like my pastor said, you have to be one step ahead of them. Because I'm telling them, when you tell them don't do this, they'll be like, why? Why? So you have to give them answers for that why. And that is the challenges we are facing. I majorly pray we mothers, at times they won't fear fathers. But we mothers, we are like toothpick for them. So even when you tell them no, they'll be like, mommy, they might go, they'll come back. That tells that we mommies will have to build both face. And tell them that I'll beat you, they're like, they'll beat you, you can't be like that, this is beating. So that's the challenges we are facing. And another thing is, some parents in the big like mothers, because of the workload at home, they, so that this child will not disturb them, they give the child cell phone, go and play phone, go and play what's it called, game. And the child gets addicted to that the phone. And these children, they are very intelligent. Even what you don't know as parents on the phone, they know what website to go. And my children call me old school because I'm just looking at the phone, they're like, what are you doing with phone? You don't understand the use of phone. So that's the way, their mentality is very, very, they have very high IQ. And this has been it's a major challenge for we as parents. So we really need to, work with them, we should try and wear their shoes. We should not be like our parents that are like, sit down there, you sit down there. So when we let them sit down, you are seeing any, reaction from them. Try and wear their shoes and make them, like especially our female children, we should make them our friends. When they come, we talk to them, what happened to school today? Gist me, let's know what, by the time they will now come out, but when they see you as terror, they cannot talk. Now my children, what they will tell me, they cannot tell their dad. Because when they tell me, like, daddy was not here this story. You understand? It's a major challenge. So it's me that will now look for means of how I will tell their dad that, bye. So it's a challenge for we as parents. In those days, father sits. You see everything you want to say in front of them. But now, no, we have to do it separately. May the Lord help us in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So let's go to our...
Let me add something to it, that all the challenges mommy has raised is correct. But don't forget that there is an instruction for all parents. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child. It's an instruction and it is mandatory. Irrespective of our current challenge as parents, that instruction from scripture has to be followed. Funny enough, the reason for that instruction is for your own peace. And the reason for that instruction is for your own peace. I have a 40-year-old young man who is a son to one of my clients, and he still collects food money from his mom. And he's 40, staying in his mom's single room. So for us parents, we must take note that the instruction Scripture has given to us is actually for our own peace. What is the benefit of whatever prosperity, whatever breakthrough, whatever position you attain if your children will not give you peace? And that is why it's important. Irrespective of whatever we're going through now, we must make room to be available for our children. We must make room. It's a serious assignment on its own. We must see it as important as the work that we do. Else, if we miss that, and it's a timeline. The funny part of training children is that it has a timeline. All these things ends once that child is in the university. All these things ends once that child is 18 years. The day your child takes his or her bag and steps out of the house and says, "Mommy, I'm going to the university," that is the end. So the assignment has a timeline and it has to be done. Once you don't do it when that child is 18, it will take the mercy of God for you to recover that child. The Lord will help us in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. So let's quickly go to our next question. We all know that love is the foundation for bringing up children. And we know in today's world, love is something that is seen as subjective. And people choose what part of love they want to share within the family. So my question is, in terms of love within the family, as it relates to children in Nigeria today?
I like the fact that you said it's relative in the sense that I grew up with parents that my dad hardly will flog you. My mom is used to flogging us, as in it's a no. Now you can define it and say that, oh, sometimes we tend to be closer to our dad because we can count the number of times he flogged us. Just that when he's flogging you, there is no limit to what he can use to beat you. But notwithstanding, we came to the realization in my house that our parents loved us because of the sacrifices they made for us. For example, when my elder sister was to write her wife, my dad sold his radio and his bicycle. My dad had a radio he bought in Israel. He had a bicycle. He sold those two things for him to pay my sister's wife fee. In my village at that time, you could count the number of parents that are training their children to school. My dad was an exception. He ensured that children from his house must go to school. My dad would not buy clothes. We saw sacrifices being made. And that enough we don't need our parents to tell us, "I love you." We don't need them to cajole us, because my pastor here will tell you that love is not by mouth. We knew from their actions, the sacrifices they make, that, oh, of a truth, these people really cares for us. So, and that doesn't take out the fact that when it is time for you to be spanked, you will not be spanked. You will be thoroughly beaten. But we know, we can see the handwriting in the wall. So, loving a child does not mean that child should not be corrected. Because the Bible said in the heart of a child lies foolishness. And what do you use to erase that foolishness? Is the rod. Because the 21st century parents too will not want to flog their children in the name of love. But that doesn't work. For you not beating your child does not mean you love your child. Your child sees beyond that. They will know if truly they sacrifice, their parents are making sacrifices for them. And for your information, they know your capacity. They know what you can do. They know what you can afford. Sometimes they are shouting, they know. So when you go outside of your way to do it for them, they see it. Because I was once a child like them too.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's like it started with me expressing love in the household, being relative. Because it's from home to home is different. Some homes have enough that goes on, and others will have to manage. And it's a little bit more pronounced in some homes, like the children can see what the parents do, and they obviously know that this came out of sacrifice. But in homes where there is abundance, the parents need an extra effort to let the children know the importance of what they own, what they enjoy, the importance, to be able to be grateful for what they have. And also, one thing that I have noticed among them, provide everything that they have, they don't have that time to like be present for their children. And in this day and age, the children want you to be there. If you are not there, they will go out they will make sure that they direct their attention to another place where they can get the attention that they need. So we have to understand that dynamics, that homes are different. And love, the truth is, parents don't need the children to, they don't need their children to love them basically, because at a certain age in life, what you need from your children is not for them to love you. That one naturally flows. It is for them to obey, to be good, and to be a well-behaved children. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's take our last question. We find out that communication between parents and children seems to be wider and wider because we are in the gadget and device age. How do you think we can close up the gap and make sure parents and children bond together?
Praise the Lord. The first thing is that the Bible says, is it the Bible? Normal family that prays together, they stay together. So the first thing is we should learn to pray together as a family. And in the process of praying, by the time a child is praying, most of our children, when they pray, we will not die. Daddy, Father, give daddy money, give mommy money, so that we're already doing ourselves together. Then we should learn to plan together. You just tell the children, come, what do you want? Especially when they want to have their birthday. Okay, just write me the list of what you want. And if the child just write something, I just have this one, not now. This one, not now. And then you give them reasons why not now. And then we should learn to play with them. We should learn to carry them out. Even out of that, we don't have time. We should learn to carry them out, and make them have a sense of belonging in the family. Then another thing, the greatest gift I feel as parents we can give to our children, especially our fathers, is to love their mother. If a child sees that my father really loves my mother, he will carry that notion with him or her. So even when the boy marries, even when he wants to misbehave, he will look back and no, my daddy does not do this to my mom. My daddy showed extreme love to my mom. So we should learn to make our children see the love amongst we parents. The other thing is that we can close this gap by making our children contented with whatever they have. Let's teach our children context. That this is what you have. Tomorrow might be better. Like my children, today I will tell them, the day they are eating, when I give them big chicken or meat, I will be shouting, I'm giving you big chicken today, oh. I'm giving you today, oh. Tomorrow if I don't give you, I don't want to hear a story. So I will start hammering from them. So the next time I give them small, I don't even give them at all. And they want to, I will remember that day that I gave you. So like that, we are trying to close that gap between them. So that children of nowadays, I can remember I cannot remember which of them. It was very small. And I served the child food. I thought I gave very small meat. I think the child was 3 or 4. Who they built Who they was me. Dad, I beat. Thank God their dad was not at home. I beat the living hell from that child. I cannot remember which of them. And I told that child, when I have abundance, you know. When I don't have, you should know. So when we teach our children, to be contented whatever they have, it goes a long way. We have sown a seed that will be there for them in lifetime. Praise the Lord.
Okay. The question is, how do we communicate with our children? Funny enough, when we're small, we so much understood each other that our mom will just look at us and we know what it means. They just look at you like this. And they go, my mom has beaten me thoroughly before because she gave me a sign language I deliberately ignored. She had a visitor, she did the sign language, she asked me to read, but the visitor was holding some things I was interested in and I refused to leave. when the visitor finished, my mom dragged me till you do not understand this side. That tells you to a large extent how we were able to communicate easily. My mom will ask you to go and bring something. My mom will ask you to leave a place, and you understand without saying a word. Communication at that time. A lot of us don't even communicate with our children. And these children are so loaded with so much information that they want to say something. Person out to say no. My children don't know how to stop talking once they see me. So sometimes I just pretend as if I'm like, okay. Ask me what they said. I do not know. But I want to make them feel comfortable by playing along with them that we are communicating. We must hear our children out. Number one, we must listen to them. For us to communicate with them, they have 1001 information flowing through their heads. The moment you don't show them that you listen to them, the day vital information they want to share with you, they will share it with someone else. My wife's neighbor in shop, the daughter was sharing with my wife that she had 5 heartbreaks, and the girl is just in basic SS2. She already had 5 heartbreaks, and my wife was asking, have you told your mom? She said she wouldn't listen. She doesn't want to listen. So number one way of communicating is there must be, communication can't happen if there's no one listening. If both of us are talking, there's no communication. So the first responsibility for us as parents in this generation is to listen. Hear them out. They want to talk. Please pay attention. Try to listen. It might be cumbersome, it might not be well arranged. Hear them out. Once you hear them out first, then you can begin to provide that guidance that you want to provide. Most times we are the only one talking. You didn't hear them and you're passing instruction. What are you saying really? Both of you are not saying the same thing. And one thing about communication is if A has not been resolved and you are in D, there's a problem. If not resolved A, you are in D. So please, parents, as we leave here, one of our take home is that you must listen to them. And another thing Parish Mommy has said, if you want your children to listen to you must be a good father, good husband to your wife. You must, because they are watching you. When my daughter Lois was very small, if I say Lois go inside and I go outside, she goes outside quickly. She steps outside immediately. I said, but Lois, I said go inside. Then he said, but you're outside. So our children are not listening to what we see. They are watching you. They take their mom for granted. They will take their wives for granted. The boys among them. And the girls among them will take their husbands for granted. Then you wonder where they learn this from. They learn it from the things they see you do. It's important. And the third thing is that always give room. As a young boy in our house, my father does not have a final say in most things. What are we going to eat this evening? He will still be the one to rearrange what we eat. Probably he wants to eat pounded yam, but he won't say, yeah, make pounded yam for me. He starts with, what are we going to eat? Everybody will come with different opinions. And I say, you see, you people have not been able to reach a conclusion. You said pepper, you said rice, you said moi moi. In that case, since there is no conclusion, let's just do pounded yam. He was using his wisdom. But sometimes we all come to an agreement and say, it's rice and beans we want to eat. If the children say, eat rice and beans, let's do rice and beans. You tell his wife that you rice and beans. You want to see But he gives us that sense of belonging, that there is no one alpha and omega that knows everything. He could have as well said, Amala. He superimpose it on all of us. He makes, so there is this communication that goes on in our house. Even when we want to go to the farm, we are going to farm tomorrow. If who does not want to go, later we will not give you reasons why we have to go. And finally, as I conclude, when I was still a teacher, teaching actively, one of our rules is that whenever a child is punished, tell them why you're punishing them. ọmọ ṣẹ̀ níjẹta wá fún lálùkì lẹ́nu kò tiẹ̀ understand why you are beating the child. The child herself is asking, this man is just wicked. Ìwọ tó ń nà nìkan ló mọ reason because àwọn ọmọ yìí máa ń gbàgbé, they forget easily. So when you are beating the child, I am beating you for stealing meat 2 weeks ago. Ó jẹ́ 1 month ní tó fẹ́ wá nà lẹ́yìn, and we even advise you. Má nà ní nínà yẹn ní ti last month yẹn tó bá wá ṣe mí ìsìn, ó lè wá rú kéèsì ẹ̀ fún pé this flogging today has its origin. Number one, the meat you stole 2 months ago, the one you did now, and the one you did now is the combined. I will have flogged you 2 for today's own. But considering the fact that you have a kidney, that's why we are where we are. God bless you. Thank you.
I want to have this because it's very, very important that we hear it also. What I have found is that the reason why I'm able to have a very, very good, in a way, somewhat okay relationship with every father is because of my relationship with my father, my earthly father.